Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Hello, it is I, Conqueror of Podcasts, host of Binging Bobby. Is there anyone there? It is I, John, the host. Remember me? And with me, I have my co-host. More alien rubbish. Have you found your man yet, Jay?
No?
So sad. You break poor Granny's heart. Anyway, this is a podcast about toy media franchises, 2000s nostalgia, and whatever else we want to talk about. Anyway, this week we are here to discuss the final one of Michael Bay's Transformers movies, The Last Night. Yes.
Yeah, we made it. No more Michael
We made
Bay.
it. No more Michael Bay. We do see his influence on how he filmed the series, but moving forward, but no more of his direct Michael Bayness, which is both a blessing and a curse.
I have watched 6 Michael Bay movies this year. He is now my second most viewed director on Letterboxd for this year. Not for long, but
Who being the first?
The first is M. Night Shyamalan, because I did a full rewatch.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
And he's also my most viewed actor of the year, because he's in like 13 of his own movies. So
okay.
All
right.
But yeah,
so
anyway.
This is The Last Night.
Yeah. Much like after Dark of the Moon, Michael Bay did not actually have plans to make another Transformers movie. Again, I kind of wonder if this was his way of... I wonder again if this is his way of being like... Because after Revenge of the Fallen, he's like, yes, I'm coming back. And then they bumped up the release date a year, so he didn't get any time off. So I wonder if this is just his way of saying, hey, I want a year off. So he says, okay, right. I'm not making any more.
Why did you end that last film with the tease for another film then?
I mean the plan was always to hand it over to another director.
Oh, sure, yeah.
To work within the same universe.
But
yeah, in early 2016 he said he would return for one last movie. And this was Transformers: The Last Night, released July 21st, 2017.
June 21st.
June 21st. Important, this was a few days before our graduation.
Yes. So and that was a busy
even more
month.
Days before we actually graduated. Because at our graduation, we had not officially graduated. Or I guess you might have. The rest of the class I don't think did.
Maybe. Right. So I was wondering why I didn't see this film in theaters when it came out, because theater money was cheap where we were.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because we were busy just preparing to move on to college and all that. So yeah. Why would I want to spend my time in a Transformers film when we could watch the extended version of Lord of the Rings for an entire day?
Yeah, we did the full marathon earlier that month.
Yes, we did. Really fun
I've done
times.
that a couple of times since then. It's fun.
Not in one day for me though.
Yeah.
No. Yep.
Well, yeah. This movie was directed by Michael Bay, believe it or not.
Wow.
We actually have, for this movie, they set up a writer's room to come up with ideas.
Well then.
Yeah, I think you can kind of tell. So the screenplay was written by Art Markham, Matt Holloway, and Ken Nolan. Markham and Holloway are a writing team. They worked on Iron Man, Uncharted, the movie adaptation, and the upcoming Kraven the Hunter. And Nolan wrote the film Black Hawk Down. And we have a story by the same team, as well as Akiva Goldsman, who is a very prolific screenwriter, tons of credits, a little bit infamous, depending on who you ask. He worked on Batman and Robin, A Beautiful Mind, I Am Legend, Dark Tower. He did Da Vinci Code, whole bunch of movies.
Okay.
Any opinion on Akiva Goldsman?
No. I'd have to take a look at the full list.
I was just curious because I was curious if you had heard of him because he's relatively well known for a screenwriter.
I don't know him, so
Okay.
I can't tell you.
Yeah. And then we have cinematography by Jonathan Sela, who also worked on Max Payne with Mark Wahlberg, John Wick, and Deadpool 2. And then music once again by Steve Jablonsky.
Yeah. Well, since we have a writer's room for this one, let's see what they concocted up for this story. So, the Autobots are once again in hiding from a new government organization, the Transformers Reaction Force, which is hunting them down. Optimus has left Earth to find the creators. Katie's helping a group of Autobots hide out in a junkyard, but one day he comes across a crashed ship. Why? How? I don't know. But where there's a dying Transformer who gives him a medallion and tells him to protect the staff. So Optimus lands on the ruins of Cybertron where he meets Quintessa, one of the creators, or I guess in this film, the creator, because they just forgot the others. Here she reveals that Earth is actually Unicron, ancient enemy of the Transformers, specifically Cybertron, and that they will need to destroy it to restore Cybertron. And she corrupts Optimus's mind to work for her goals. And he's then named Nemesis Prime or something. Decepticons, also under Quintessa's control, although that's a bit ambiguous, attack the Autobots hiding out on Earth, and they go out on the run. The Autobots do. Cade runs into Cogman, the human-sized robot butler of Sir Burton, who tells him he has to go to England. There he meets up with Burton and Vivian Wembley, a professor and expert in Arthurian legend. And it turns out that a group of Transformers stole Quintessa's staff many years ago and fled to Earth, where they entrusted the keeping of the staff to Arthur, King of the Britons.
King of the who? The Britons. Who are the Britons? Well, we all are. We are all Britons. And I am your king. Oh, didn't know we had a king.
And Merlin, for some reason. So, Quintessa needs the staff to destroy the Earth and restore Cybertron. I mean, not really. You know, she could just use the pyramid machine or whatever. Anyway, as the only surviving descendant of Merlin, Vivian is the only one who can stop Quintessa. How convenient. And Vivian and Cade follow clues, eventually ending up on an old Transformer ship deep in the ocean. Yeah, they find the staff, but Optimus shows up and takes it from them. Optimus and Bumblebee fight for a bit until Optimus overcomes the mind control through the power of friendship and that sort of bullcrap. Megatron, now Megatron, he's no longer Galvatron, shows up and takes the staff, bringing it to Quintessa. And with Cybertron colliding into Earth, the Autobots team up with the U.S. military and the TRF to get the staff back. There is a big battle. Vivian eventually makes her way to the staff and stops Quintessa. Bumblebee shoots Quintessa, but she teleports away. Optimus gives another speech about hope or something, completely ignoring the hundreds of millions of people who no doubt died as a result of Cybertron's crashing into Earth, and those who Optimus slayed himself. And in an after-credit scene, yes, Quintessa disguises herself as a human to talk to a random scientist, and that is the last we ever hear about this.
Yeah, that ending. Like, this is an Eternals level. How is the Earth ever going to recover from what happened to it? Type mass event that just kind of gets hand waved away.
Yeah.
They destroy Hong Kong Do you know how many people live in Hong Kong? I'm gonna look
Couple
this
people.
up.
2 or 3 at
few.
best. Yeah.
7.3 million.
Wow, then.
They destroy Cairo.
Yeah.
There is so much debris falling. Like...
Yeah. Woohoo. Hooray for the Transformers. They saved the day. Yeah. This film
Yeah, I guess
just this film gave up on trying to be something by itself. It just threw everything at the wall. Continuity be damned. It's like, whatever. We're gonna do whatever comes up to mind. King Arthur, Merlin, sure. Cybertron is a thing. Unicron, Quintessa, Nemesis Prime. You got Megatron. Also, by the way, we have these evil Earth people task force. Oh, and we're gonna give this little girl to Cade, and then forget about them for the rest of the film. Oh, by the way, let's also have this like funny British guy played by Anthony Hopkins, and then maybe we'll do this girl who we gotta do a love thing with the girl and Cade or whatever. What else? Oh, sure. What if Bumblebee can just break apart and pull himself together again? Sure, why not? This film was the breaking point for me when watching it. It's like I was so invested in these films. The trailer for this one looked cool, and I watched this one, and they don't really care about the other films. They're like, screw it. We're just gonna do everything, and I don't like that. I did not like this film. You probably enjoyed it more than I did.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it a bit here, but yeah, I mean, on a base level, this is not a cohesive movie. I remember watching the trailers, knowing very little about any of the other Transformers movies at this point in 2017, and being like, wait a second, this is one movie. There's like one movie where you have the Mark Wahlberg stuff, you have the Isabella Merced stuff, and that seems like it could be one movie. But then you have like this King Arthur stuff, which seems like it should be its own movie. And then you have this like end of the world stuff, which seems like it should be its own movie. I'm like, is this one movie? Like, that's kind of impressive that they managed to do all of it in one movie. They don't make it cohere. It does not. No. It does not tie together well.
No,
I would argue, like, on a simple, like, the plot flows better than the first 3 Transformers movies. Just on like a plot, like scene to scene, things connect better. Stuff gets dropped, but you don't remember that the stuff is dropped until it shows back up again, because you're like, okay, it's moving from point A to point B somewhat well. It's just
I don't agree, but let's just say it does.
It makes a lot of weird stops along the way.
Yeah.
But like each sequence makes sense as like the follow-up to the sequence before it. It's just at a certain point you're like, why have we gone from a junkyard in the Dakotas to this fancy mansion in Great Britain to then
why
are we
now underwater in the submarine? Also, why is the human task form also at the submarine location out of nowhere?
Why? Okay. I think this feels like a writer's room movie, in that it feels like there are a lot of creative visions happening here that are kind of all slightly at odds with each other. Like, we have 4 different writers, 2 of whom are our writing team, but 4 different writers, and Michael Bay, the director, who all seem to have completely different ideas of what they want this to be. Reading up a bit about the production of this, the story was conceived by Akiva Goldsman. I don't know to what extent, if he just had like an idea and then the writing team ran with it, or if he had like an actual treatment or something. But yeah, I can imagine what his version of this was, how that then got iterated into something else, and that once it was in Michael Bay's head, that then changed focus once again. Because yeah, we have the stuff that's like the sequel to Age of Extinction. Let's start there.
Sure.
Where we have, I mean, it makes sense. We have Cade is working with the Autobots. The government has created another task force. Doesn't matter to the plot at all. Like, if they hadn't done that, nothing would change. Except that the Autobots wouldn't be in hiding at the beginning.
Yes, because they're being slaughtered. Except for Decepticons who go to prison for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that one sequence that's just, it really feels like they saw Suicide Squad and like, there's some cool stuff in that film. Let's put it here. And so you have that one montage,
yeah,
and then the very next scene, they all die. Back off screen or something.
Yeah. But no, yeah, you have this, like, the stuff happening on Earth, and then you have Optimus obviously going off to find the creators. But I don't know. Part of the problem is that the most interesting character in this movie is Optimus. And he is missing for the middle 2 hours.
He is probably has 10 minutes of total screen time. 6 minutes of those which are just pure action. 4 minutes of dialogue. If any,
he should be the lead of this movie.
He's the main thing in the cover. Him with like a cool knight sword. He's got the red scar on his face. And you're right. There's 2 whole hours of this film where we don't see Optimus at all. Then he shows up at the end. It's like, oh yeah, this thing.
Like, this is probably good. So, the Arthurian legend stuff is probably my favorite idea in this. Where it's both literally, let's go back to King Arthur medieval times and imagine what the Transformers would be doing back then, which I think is a good idea. If this whole movie had been that, it would be my favorite just on principle. Unfortunately,
don't like any of that.
10 minutes.
But sure.
Sure. But we also get this idea of Optimus as a King Arthur type figure. And that's really cool to me because Arthurian legend is very foundational to a lot of storytelling tropes, and storytelling ideas and character archetypes. And I've been having a hard time like figuring out who Optimus is supposed to be. So connecting it back to King Arthur, it's like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. He's like this leader figure, who is still fallible and has these like moments of these more not human moments since he's not human, but like he makes mistakes every once in a while, but has this sort of innate nobility to him. I'm like, oh, that's actually a fun idea to reinterpret Arthurian legend through the Transformers, not just literally by doing exactly that, but also by bringing ideas and characters into the Transformers stories. Of course, outside of the first 10 minutes and the last act, this is entirely like does not factor into anything at all.
No.
Like,
no, not at all.
Because Optimus is missing.
Yeah. So, yeah, but Optimus is not the last knight at all. It's Cade Yeager. He's the last knight.
Yeah, I'm just imagining. I can imagine one of these writers who's working on this movie being like, hey, what if we do a King Arthur style story? And like coming up with a really solid idea. And the rest of the writer's room is like, oh, that's fun. Let's take bits and pieces of this idea, like stick them on to the story we already have. And the result is just kind of nothing. It's disappointing. I was reading, just out of curiosity, I started reading The Once and Future King, the one of the more modern reinterpretations of the Arthurian legends. And yeah, it's like there's so much there to dive into. This was the same year as the not Transformers, the Arthur Legend of the Sword or something.
Something. I don't know.
King Arthur Legend of the Sword, which came out, when was that? The Guy Ritchie film. May 12, 2017. So it's like, yeah, there is, it's on the mind there. And that's another famous like film that had some potential that then kind of got lost. But yeah, I'm like, we don't have a lot of good modern day King Arthur stories. It would have been kind of cool to do that with Transformers. I think you probably disagree with me on that.
Maybe thematically, but literally King Arthur, no. I don't care about that at all.
Yeah. I think both thematically and literally. But I would be fine if it was, let's just do thematically, but they don't even do that.
No. Nope. Not at all.
Yeah. Then we have the whole like secret society lost treasure adventure movie in the vein of like National Treasure, with Cade and Vivian just kind of running around and meeting various people and listening to a bunch of exposition.
Yeah, that created some things. So apparently Sam Witwicky is part of a Witwican society.
Yes, and I think this is where the implication that he might be dead comes from.
Right, and no one bats an eye.
Because Vivian is described as the last like of the lineage, which implies that.
So here we also find out Bumblebee fought the Nazis, and there was this whole other montage of things where Optimus was in the Delaware or something. This whole sequence just breaks apart the Transformers timeline in history. None of it which makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
But okay.
Which, yeah, I'm not as bothered by those type of continuity things as you are. But even for me, it was stretching things a little.
Continuity is like essential for me. If you don't follow continuity, if you show that you don't care, I don't care. How about you?
I'm just like whatever's best.
It wasn't even best. It was just crap that they. So actually, all right. Yeah, so by this point, actually, it was announced that we were going to get a Bumblebee prequel film, and I'm fairly certain that they put the Bumblebee stuff there as probably an idea that they were working with for the Bumblebee prequel. But then they did something else entirely. So,
yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, it definitely feels like they're trying to use this because this is between Age of Extinction and this, Paramount and Hasbro were just kind of going all in on Transformers and like, let's do spin-offs and all of this type of stuff. So the Bumblebee movie is the product of that.
Right.
But yeah, you can definitely feel that with this movie. There's a lot of avenues for them to take of like, oh, we can do a prequel with these characters and we can do a spin-off with these characters and all of this type of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. The Secret Society stuff, it's just boring to me.
Yeah.
Like, we've already kind of done this in in the first two movies.
Yeah, we did. I mean, you have Anthony Hopkins who jumps around.
Yeah.
He travels. Like in one
He
shot,
does.
he's in Egypt. Has one line, in the next shot, he's somewhere else entirely. He is a wild
Yeah.
card in this film. He's having the time
Oh,
of his life,
yeah.
not caring at all. All on a green screen.
I mean, some of the stuff was like the stuff that was actually in England he was there for,
Sure.
but
But there's a
although
lot of
maybe
shots
not
where
all of
it
it.
was just him by himself.
Yeah.
Just yeah. So
It's the stuff I want to like because of Anthony Hopkins. But it's just so much exposition and it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care anything about Merlin and King Arthur unless you're actually going to show me more Merlin and King Arthur.
Stanley Tucci's
Otherwise,
Merlin.
I just oh, we gotta. I'll do that. I'll do that now.
Oh God, I'm sozzled.
Just we were robbed. We could have had a whole movie of Stanley Tucci as Merlin,
or just Stanley Tucci in general.
Why? I was imagining that this would be, you would have the like past timeline with Stanley Tucci as Merlin, and then you would have his character from the last movie also, like in the modern timeline, and I was so excited. And then
Instead of Vivian
like,
being the last descendant, it's him.
Yeah, no, I was so excited. I was like, oh, he's the last descendant. We get to see him again.
It'd be so dumb, but because it's Stanley Tucci being the only source of fun.
Even in this movie, he's the only source of fun.
Not for me. He couldn't save this film for me.
But separate from this being a Transformers movie, King Arthur and his knights are on the battlefield. And Arthur's like, oh, Merlin, he's showing up any moment. He's going to save us. And then you see this like shot of Merlin riding towards the camera. And then you cut back to the battle and you're cutting back and forth. Then back to King Arthur. Oh, Merlin will be here any minute. And one of his knights is, oh, Merlin, he's a bit of a drunkard, isn't he? King Arthur, no, it'll be fine. Cut back to Merlin as he's like falling off his horse. And
oh, God, I'm sozzled.
I don't love that, but okay.
It is the best character introduction. Oh, I was
it's
so
very
excited.
Modern. That's for sure.
I was so excited for this to be Stanley Tucci as Merlin for the whole movie. And then he never appeared again. And I was so sad.
This film is it is references galore with no sense.
Speaking of references, the last story here that I think they're trying to do is Unicron.
Oh, Unicron. Yeah.
Here's another point where I think we're going to disagree. Because I don't care about Transformers canon. I'm coming in relatively new to this. I don't know who these people are. I just want a good story. So I don't hate the idea that Earth is actually Unicron. What I don't like is that it doesn't go anywhere.
I just don't want the Earth to be anything. Just let Earth be Earth. Have Unicron be something else coming in. It's just a forced thing. It's like, oh, why are they always on Earth? Unicron? Sure, let's go with that.
I mean, I think the way that they handle it, it would be so much more interesting if they kept Unicron for later. If it's just Quintessa needs to like steal the life force from Earth in order to bring Cybertron back. Like, you can do that. If they had done something more interesting with the idea of Earth as Unicron, if this was more like Eternals, where that is something that the characters have to contend with, rather than just a thing to get the plot going.
It's also a thing, it's like, okay, we've already been so many, at this point, 10 years into Transformers. So many films, 5 films. it's a bit late to make the Earth Unicron at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. I'm done. I think you went too big now. Why? Okay.
Yeah. I don't disagree that the execution. I think there is a version of this that works, but it is not the version that we got. With all of these plot lines, I think that there are versions of these plot lines that work. Where
Not
the
in
Age
my
of
mind,
Ultron
but
sequel,
sure.
where it's like it's a sequel to Age of Extinction, where Cade and the Autobots are working together, and he adopts this small child, and they have to like fight the creators.
Right. It's mostly just Optimus in space fighting the
Yeah.
creators, but no, we're just
If it's Optimus goes to space, interacts with Quintessa, immediately comes back to Earth, and is part of the adventure. And let's skip over the Secret Society stuff, the exposition stuff. None of that. Focus more on the character drama of Optimus as he is like torn between his like the mind control. I mean, it's a thing that every show does, of like, oh no, the hero's being mind controlled, and this is like, what do we do? But it's something. It's more interesting than, oh, let's go to a new location. Oh, what clue to the staff is here?
yeah.
They can't
Yeah.
even commit to like when Vivian goes back to her house and her like all of her relatives are there, and she's introducing them to Mark Wahlberg, and then is like, oh, we're going up to the room, and then start saying things and like pulling stuff apart, and it's supposed to be, oh, what are they doing up in the room? And all of the relatives are listening in. They don't even like finish the joke. They just forget about it at a certain point. There's no follow through to anything, any of the ideas this movie has. It just kind of moves on to the next scene.
Yeah.
Like Quintessa's plan, we don't know enough to judge if she was justified in anything she does. Like, how much of a threat is Unicron in this universe?
I mean, the bigger threat was the Transformers, since they were the ones who destroyed Cybertron in the first place with a war. Then they transported it to Earth and then demolished the entire planet with a teleporter. It blew up and everything.
Imploded. Not even blew up.
That too. Optimus goes back. It's like, my home. What the heck?
What happened? I don't know, Optimus. Were you looking in the sky 2 movies ago?
Did you forget why you left?
Executing a person who had surrendered and was begging for mercy.
You got the touch.
Yes, this film also kind of forgot that when we set up the creators, we had multiple things that were. The creators are a species called the Quintessicons, which were the rotating face people.
Yeah.
Yes. So this really feels like they're like, writing multiple faces is probably too much. What do? Hey, guess what? We haven't had a female villain yet. All right, let's just put it all in one. Quintessa is now the creator, even though we have a shot with multiple things going on in the last film, but let's forget about that. That's not important right now. We also have Knights. Oh, the Knights.
Yeah.
In fact, no, Cade is not the last Knight at all. They're all still alive on that ship waiting to fight.
Yeah. It's messy. It feels like something that was worked on by 4 different writers who each had their own different ideas, plus a director who also had his own different ideas. There's also part of me that is like, but the third act kind of pulls everything together. Like when it is Optimus has arrived back and he's fighting Bumblebee, and then like gets redeemed and now has to like everyone has to team up and stop Cybertron from in Quintessa, and like stuff is falling out of the sky and the planets are colliding and there's action and battles and stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm actually kind of enjoying this. And like Isabella Merced shows up again, and even though we haven't seen her for the rest of the movie, it's like, oh, I'm kind of happy to see you, and you're actually a part of this now. And you have a connection with Cade that doesn't make sense based on how little time you spent together, but it's, I see what you're doing, movie. I know what you're trying to do, and it's kind of working for me.
By that point in the film, I was just dying, waiting for it to be done. Because by that point, I just didn't care. It was just not working for me. It was just too dumb. Too dumb. You have Cybertron destroying the moon.
I love this kind of stuff. This is the kind of like big scale destruction that I've been waiting for. I do.
Not on the Transformers, though. When nothing we saw prior to this was like this, except maybe the whole moonbeam with the whatever. It's not important. It's just a film.
I mean, I also took a break halfway through this movie to go to the store and buy Megatron.
Good for you taking a break. I took no breaks. I watched the full thing straight. If you did that too, you'd be dying as well.
I mean, I was enjoying it more than you were at the point when it switched into the third act.
Yeah.
In any case.
Anyway,
I'm like, that ending worked for me. But yeah, this is like, yeah, it doesn't work even if the end works. I will forgive a lot if the third act works. And so I'm forgiving a lot because the third act worked for me. Again, if this had been 2.5 hours of Transformers and King Arthur, this would have been my favorite of the movies. So that kind of tells you what my mindset was going into this.
Right. Let's see. It takes Bumblebee speaking for Optimus to be like, oh, Bumblebee, your voice. I haven't heard that since Cybertron, which, no, you heard it. You heard it in the first film. You heard it at the end of the last film. What are you talking about, Optimus?
I was like, oh, that's a nice moment, even though that is the thing everything does, and I also don't understand the relationship between these two characters.
I don't think Bumblebee can die now, since we saw him be torn apart and then magnetize himself together. I don't know how that works. What happened to Galvatron's little micro things, Transformers thing that spins? That's gone.
Too expensive to animate.
What happened to Galvatron, period? Why is it Megatron again?
Too confusing.
It's if it was just like one thing that was like they forgot about, sure, but there's just too much that just they throw out the window. It's just whatever. Simmons is in Cuba with Fidel Castro.
That whole thing. Oh,
it's Castro died the year before this film came out, so that joke.
Yeah,
aged, I guess.
I mean, but does he like mention him being alive, or is it just that Castro like gave the Autobots asylum? Also, why
they said he allows it, which implies he's alive.
Okay,
so
yeah. I was wondering about the timeline with that. I forgot to look it up because that was early in the movie and there were so many things after it. I was busy reading King Arthur books because
it's not important, but it was a thing that I noticed. It was like, yes, but he's dead at this point. So,
yeah, I gave the story here a 1.5 out of 5. Again, the third act pulled things together enough that I'm actually going to give this a 2 and lower a different score. Yeah, I'll give the story a 2 out of 5 for having good ideas and sometimes executing well on them.
I gave it a 1. Nothing worked for me. I enjoy Revenge of the Fallen more than this. I can sit through that and it's more legible than this for me. So
You see, this is the thing where, since I am less invested in the Transformers as a property, the issues with this don't bother me as much.
even just like from a film by film basis, I have problems in general.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah,
You're right.
This is
I care more about the Transformers, which is why it's so frustrating when the creators don't, when the people working this don't as much. So,
yeah.
all right, characters.
We have Cade, the protagonist again. This time his problem is that he isn't getting laid.
Why? I don't know why that's the big thing for him.
That his daughter is like, hey, you need a girlfriend?
His
Like,
daughter's,
what?
I mean, in
What
the
are we
film,
talking
she
about?
calls him. It's like, Dad, you need a girlfriend. It's like, what? This is a whole thing
That's
about
the most important thing. That is the most important thing that you
have-
need right now, Dad, is a girlfriend.
We have Merlin, Arthur's knights, Autobots are being killed again, but no, Dad, you need a girlfriend. Okay, yes.
And then
Also,
the
he has
first
a- he has a
eligible
new
young
child.
lady comes up. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Isabella Marcet's character when we in a little bit. Yeah, it's just like, why does he have to have a romance subplot? It's so uninteresting. How much older is Mark Wahlberg than Laura Haddock? I'm gonna look this up.
15 years.
He's
That's my
53
guess.
right now. She's 39. Yeah, so about, yeah. Why do they have to have a romance?
Or is there something like that? Yeah. I don't know.
Under 20. A bit under 20. Yeah.
We need to have something.
These characters never say anything nice to each other.
Yeah.
It's weird. Then we also have just like, I mean, I don't know. This is the whole Mark Wahlberg persona, which I don't vibe with at all. It's like, he's a red-blooded American who drives a truck, drinks beer, hasn't gone to college, and probably has some unexamined anger issues. Yeehaw.
Yep, that's him. Woohoo.
It's like, I don't find this character engaging as a protagonist. He works better than Sam Witwicky, but
he worked in the last film, but here, not so much. Especially since they gave him the whole your special quest, like they did Sam on the second film.
Yeah,
which that worked fine the first time.
His whole like, oh, I know these things without going to college. And I don't have student debts. It's like, she's in Great Britain. She probably doesn't have student debts either. Also, she's a professor of English literature. Like, I don't think she's hurting for money or at all. Like, I don't know. I don't like that attitude, that like anti-intellectual. I guess it fits within the ethos of these movies being like, if you think too much about them, they fall apart. But yeah, Vivian Wembley, one of the most British names ever.
Yeah.
Vivian Wembley, I'm from Great Britain. Oh, you didn't need to tell me the second part. I got that from the first part. It is, I would ding it, except there is an actress whose name is Tuppence Middleton, which is an even more British name. So I won't say anything about choosing the name Vivian Wembley for your British character.
Sure.
But they gave the woman character an arc. I didn't think it was possible.
Not a very strong one, but an arc, yeah.
No, yeah, it's there. It is there, undeniably. She has an arc.
Yeah.
It feels like Bay has kind of grown a little bit in that she is, even just on a visual level, allowed to be a character with agency and dignity that is somewhat on par with Mark Wahlberg. She's still presented as like,
But
yeah, there's that whole scene where it's like Mark Wahlberg is like, "Oh, I'm not going to listen to you wearing that dress." It's like, I think a professor of English literature at Oxford would maybe dress a little less like what Michael Bay likes to see women dressed as.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, I did think something interesting was the lecture she was giving at the beginning of the movie, where she's talking about like, oh, these Arthurian legends, they aren't real, but they inspire us. And I thought, oh, I think that's the writers trying to justify working on this movie. Like, this story doesn't matter, but we're going to be inspiring people. It's like, okay, sure. If you have to tell yourself that, we'll go with it.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Whatever you say.
Then we have Isabella, who I think this is a good idea for a character. As a contrast to Cade, who is also sort of giving him catharsis for the relationship with his daughter, since he can't be with his daughter, then he has like a surrogate daughter to make himself feel better. Is it the most healthy thing to do psychologically? No, but it's story-wise, it's interesting.
She's also a character type that most Transformers shows have to have a version of this character. So a younger character, usually a teenager, sometimes younger, who hangs out with the Transformers, may or may not be a girl who is I don't know,
mechanically inclined.
Yeah, that works too.
Handy.
Yeah,
with a wrench.
Sure. Or other skills that don't have anything to do with it, but somehow always work out in the end. But yeah, it's disappointing that she could have been the main character of the film, even though I don't know if I love it as much, but she's not in the film as much. She just at the beginning has a fight with Cade, then she's gone for like another hour and a half before we see her again. It's like, oh, right, this.
She has as much screen time as Optimus does, which is to say not a lot.
Which is so disappointing. So disappointing, especially when advertisements for this film, it showcases her and the little robot a lot, and yet all we get is that time where them trying to save and heal the Autobots are a little bit weird, because like they're bleeding out green blood, yet they're why they don't have blood? Why are you putting pressure on the wound? There's no wound. These are robots. Whatever. Yeah. It's not important. It's just a film.
Yeah, then we have Optimus, who, again, I like this idea that Optimus is this King Arthur figure who is sort of this leader of a group of noble warriors who then has this little arc where he gets corrupted and seduced, but is ultimately like redeemed through his connection with his knights. Like, that is an interesting arc for Optimus.
Yeah, except, he's here for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah. It's disappointing that this is the movie with the most characterization for Optimus and that he's missing for most of it.
What were they doing for 2 hours? without Optimus? What were they doing? I don't know. I do know, but it's...
I'll tell you, they were running around. They were doing Da Vinci Code for Transformers.
Yes, they were. And other stuff.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a bit further down, because I have thoughts. But yeah, Bumblebee finally gets his voice back. Hooray. I guess.
Yeah. Until the next one, where we learn how he loses it.
Of course.
Of course.
But yeah, Sir Burton. This is the Anthony Hopkins character. He feels a lot like the Ian McKellen character in the Da Vinci Code, in that he shows up, he's like, hey, come to my palatial place, and then is like, I'm gonna just say a lot of exposition at you. I think the Ian McKellen character in the Da Vinci Code is even more interesting, because there's a later twist with that character. Whereas
right.
Here it's just like,
here he somehow shows up on the battlefield, he dies, and we forget about it. It's like, what?
Yeah. He has a mini arc about how he's like always wanted to be a knight, but he doesn't feel worthy, or maybe he's too old. I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's a nice little mini arc, but this character doesn't add a whole lot. To like the emotional stakes, at least.
No.
But yeah, then we have Cogman.
We just needed a big name.
Cogman. What is going on with this character? Like, he first shows up and I'm like, oh, he's the butler type character. But then he like goes insane. It's weird. That scene on the submarine where he like runs across the length of the submarine, shoots out the torpedo tube, grabs a couple fish, kills the fish by like bashing them on the floor of the submarine, and then is like, I made you dinner.
Also lights a couple candles in the submarine.
Yes. Like, I have a theory as to why this scene does not work from like a filmmaking perspective, but this character is just so weird. I think part of it is
we're in London. It's British. We need a butler character.
I think part of it is just that you have this entirely CG character, and I don't know who's like human size, which is very different from the other entirely CG characters in this movie. I don't know how good Michael Bay is at getting the actors to interact with a CG character who is not a Transformer, or even who is a Transformer, because the interactions between humans and Transformers aren't super like emotionally resonant in general. But yeah, it just kind of feels, I don't know, he's weird as a character. Very, just kind of seems like he's there to do, honestly, he seems like the character who, you have 4 writers, and I think they each have a different idea of who this character is, and it all ended up in the script. So he's both the butler who's a little bit eccentric, that he's the like super eccentric butler, that he's like the former soldier, and he's also the like sociopath, all at the same time. Depending on the scene, he switches between the modes. I thought he was supposed to be, since he's like the same size as Quintessa, I thought he was going to be one of the creators.
Okay.
But he's just kind of like there. We don't get an explanation for like what he is, because he can't transform.
No. But then there's this watch that kills Hitler.
But that's a thing we've seen before. because that's like when
because of the
Sam used
cube.
the
But
yeah.
what is this little
Well,
thing
the
doing?
cube has been around, so
Not in
presumably they
Nazi
used it for
Germany.
the cube. Well, presumably someone used the cube on a watch, and it was like a like I can understand the logic there. We have not seen anyone like Cogman in the franchise.
No,
He's just
outside of
there.
maybe the woman, the lady that seduces Sam, quote unquote, and
Oh yeah, I
one
forgot
of
about
the
her.
motorcycle ones that are just fodder. But besides that, this is the most
Yeah.
human-ish robot-y thing. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Then we have the return of Lennox.
Yeah.
And that's about all he does is return and be in a couple scenes and shout
Yeah,
orders
it's.
and be the good soldier.
I like Lennox in general, but I wish they didn't bring him back here because it's like,
Okay.
why do you have to bring him for this terrible film? Whatever. Let's just move on.
Yeah. The other Autobots are just kind of here. I wish they had gone more into the idea of them being like Knights of the Round Table and what that would entail, but obviously they aren't going to do that because the King Arthur stuff is just kind of haphazardly pasted on at certain points. But then we have Quintessa, who I was so excited when I saw the trailer for this, doing this series and being like, oh, we're going to get a woman villain. This is going to be so good. And then she has 2 scenes. Like, I was looking forward to having like a Rudaka type figure from Transformers. Because you remember how much I liked Rudaka.
Yes, I do.
Like this trope of like the like evil temptress woman. I know that it's like rooted in a lot of like historical misogyny and has like a lot of bad associations with it. But it's one of those tropes that I just kind of like to see play out. Like it's always fun to see a woman be powerful and in charge and dangerous and have fun with it. Like Rudaka. Quintessa, she has like 3 scenes and none of them are super memorable. So we get all of the like bad parts of the evil temptress trope without any of the stuff that makes it fun. She has no pizzazz, no flair for the dramatic. It's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she shows up at the end. Again.
As an end credit thing, as a human, somehow.
Yeah, it's Gemma Chan. Speaking of Eternals. Yeah. Yeah. Then Megatron is also here for some reason.
Because they brought him back in the last film as Galvatron. It's like, we gotta use him somehow. It's like, he is somehow also under the control of Quintessa. How? We don't know. He's just there. He gathers a group of criminals.
This is the like 3rd movie, I guess 2nd if you aren't counting Dark of the Moon, which is kind of an edge case, where Megatron is in the movie without being the main villain, as a pawn of a different villain.
Right.
And it didn't bother me as much in Revenge of the Fallen. But at this point, like even in Age of Extinction, even though he is in it and working of his own volition, he's not the main villain. Like, what's the point of bringing him back over and over again if he's not going to be the main villain? I guess for toys.
For toys. And again, they brought him back in the last film, so they had to use him somehow.
Yeah.
But he's
It feels like
Megatron in this one, not Galvatron.
yeah.
He's
It feels a
nothing.
bit like Batman and the Joker, and how sometimes, since the Joker is such a totemic figure, he just kind of shows up in stories,
But
and
there's
it
more effort
does
put
it on some
into
level.
that than what we have here.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the story, but yeah, it just it cheapens him as a villain.
Yeah, yeah. Like if he was going against Quintessa, that would be interesting. Like
Yeah,
him having to team up with the Autobots to be like, I don't like Quintessa. I'm the one in charge. Optimus is taking over. We're gonna fight together. But no, he's just there.
even the thing I keep waiting for, which is for him and Optimus to team up against some other common enemy. Like give us something.
Yep. Well,
But
it's not
yeah.
here yet.
Yeah. I gave the characters overall a 2.5 out of 5. I think there's so much promise in each individual character. It's really the bringing everything together that collapses. There are so many interesting ideas. And even we didn't talk about Merlin and Arthur, but that introduction scene of Merlin is so good. And it's like then that they don't do anything with this character. And that happens throughout the movie. We get the return of Simmons, and it's just kind of like nothing.
Yeah. I gave the characters a 1.
Yeah. Onto the visuals. I think these are some of my favorite visuals in the franchise. We get so much spectacle. We get like there's such a sense of scale with planets colliding and things happening, and it's the kind of stuff that I've been waiting for. These like cosmic bodies relating to each other, and explosions and stuff happening, and mega structures and deep seas, and we get all of the like beautiful nature and highlands stuff. We get a big medieval battle at the start with way too many explosions. uh I enjoyed a lot of this stuff here.
I'm on the opposite end where I think that this is, looking mostly at a VFX standpoint, this is the worst the series has looked. You
Okay.
have many shots that look fine, but then there's so many shots that don't look good at all. The most glaring one is that piece of liquid armor that Yade has. Doesn't look
Yeah.
good on him. There's other moments here and there that don't look good at all. But yeah, I didn't notice this aspect as much, but a common complaint for this film is that every other shot is a different aspect ratio.
Yeah, I noticed this a lot. It's very annoying. It switches between 3 different aspect ratios. So there's the standard, the IMAX, and then the like bigger IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the version you're watching.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
the Blu-ray and the HD digital copies will have that, whereas the SD and the DVD probably don't. But yeah, it's very distracting that it's every shot is a different format. And there are a lot of very quick cuts, which means that it's changing very rapidly. And that's not, I mean, it isn't uncommon to be switching between IMAX and standard for specific shots, but just how quickly it's moving between the two and how randomly it is as well.
Yeah.
Because
It's like,
generally you do
why
like
did you film this one shot in IMAX? Like, there's nothing big
yeah,
going on here.
it's It is so, yeah. Yeah, because usually you do IMAX, you do for the big action scenes, and then for dialogue scenes, you go back to standard because the IMAX cameras are so difficult to film with and so loud. Although, if they aren't actually using film, I don't know if they shot this on film. I know Age of Extinction was one of the first digital IMAX movies. Um, but yeah, at that point, just like choose a format and stick with it because it's very distracting to have it constantly switching. I will also say, like, to go along with the editing, there's a lot of missing connective tissue between scenes and between shots where it'll just like we're following Cade and Vivian as they're like on one side of London doing something, and then all of a sudden we're with Anthony Hopkins doing something else in a completely different location in London. It's like it takes a second to reorder yourself. Or the aforementioned scene in the submarine where without warning, Cogman starts running across the submarine, and then before you can really process what's going on, he is outside the submarine. And then it cuts to like some time later, but it isn't entirely obvious how much time has passed. Cogman is carrying two fish and is like beating them to death on the floor of the submarine. All of these things could make sense, but the way it's edited together, it takes your brain half of the current shot to catch up with what was happening in the last shot. So none of the characters' actions make any sense at any point in time. And it's a lot of the action scenes are also like this. It's really only the final act that actually slows down and takes the time to explain where characters are and what they're doing in relationship to each other.
This isn't related to visuals, but this is something that the comedy of these films, I haven't really talked a whole lot about the comedies of these films, but for most of these films, I can somewhat get behind the comedy. This one wasn't funny to me at all. There was a lot of just
Okay.
awkward moments. Most of them were just Cogman doing stuff that was just
Yeah.
awkward for me. So
I like the thing where he's like playing the organ. I think when they go back to the same joke the second time, it doesn't.
I don't like that at all. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It worked fine for me. This isn't Stanley Tucci in the last movie.
No.
The comedic genius is not quite there here.
Although Hopkins
honestly,
tries his best.
Yeah. Hopkins, I don't know that he's trying his best. I think he is innately a good enough actor that him not trying his best still kind of works.
Sure.
Yeah. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about writers, but I think the thing that was impressive about the last few movies was that Aaron Kruger really found a way to bring his own creative vision to the forefront while working within what Michael Bay finds interesting. And having stuff actually work and a cohesive story despite the like scale, especially with Age of Extinction. Here, yeah, we're bringing in an entirely new writing team who hasn't figured this out. And maybe if they had kept at it, they might have eventually figured it out, but it just, yeah, it isn't working here. But in terms of visuals, I gave this a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a somewhat harsh 3, but there you go.
Yeah. Onto the performances. What a cast. Like, just looking at the cast, so many of these people show up for like
the film
half
was
a
better utilized for this cast. Yes.
Yeah.
What a cast.
Like, okay, Stanley Tucci as Merlin. I need a whole movie of that. Just do it. Someone do it, please. Stanley Tucci in anything, but Stanley Tucci as Merlin was so much fun for his like 2 scenes. Anthony Hopkins, weird that he's in this, but it was probably a good paycheck for him at least.
Sure. Yeah.
Laura Haddock does a fine job as Vivian. We have Isabella Moner, aka Isabella Marced, as Isabella. She is good in this role. She's one of the. She was in the live action Dora. She was Dora the Explorer, and she's also in the recent Alien Romulus. And she's an exciting talent to like watch what she's doing and her roles. I think she's really good in this. It's just that she doesn't have anything to do. Like she has chemistry with her scene partners. And she sells that connection with that one little robot thing that she's with. But yeah, again, not much to do. We have Gerard Carmichael, who is a comedian that I have seen a couple of his things, and I think he's good. He's barely in this. It's always fun to see him show up, but he doesn't really get to do anything. Him being in this does, though, fit with my headcanon that his love confession to Cade was a genuine romantic love confession and not just like a haha platonic thing. John Turturro's back. Glenn Marshauer's back. Tony Hale is here. He's underutilized, but he's here. Speaking of underutilized, Gil Birmingham as Chief Sherman. I mean, he's so good, so underutilized. I like that he actually gets to call out the movie for its racism, but he is in 2 scenes, unfortunately. Gemma Chan as Quintessa. I think this is a case of her just not getting anything to do. Then we also have Jim Carter, who, interestingly enough, he's most famous for playing the butler on Downton Abbey, and that's actually why he was cast as Cogman.
Makes sense. Yeah,
it is an interesting use of his talents. That's what I will say.
You also have this random scene with Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi as the voice of Day Trader, who just kind of shows up.
Yeah, it didn't need to be Steve Buscemi. Although I like Steve Buscemi, but he didn't need to be here.
Yeah, we have Omar Sy as Hot Rod. Always interesting to see what he shows up in, because he has a very odd career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have any beef with any of the cast. I gave it the performances a 3.5.
I give it a harsh 2.5.
Oh yeah, last up we have the sound.
Not much to notice here, honestly.
Yeah, it's similar to the last few soundtracks. It's there. It doesn't detract from the movie. It doesn't, like, I never noticed it particularly. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yep. I also give it a 3 out of 5, which leaves me with a total score of 10.5, which is a 42% or 2.15 star rating.
I think this might be one of your lowest ever rankings.
It is the lowest of this series.
Let me see what is lower, since we just did our rankings episode. I'm just curious.
Probably something else. If any.
Oh, yeah, looks like it is only the 2 Beverly Hills Chihuahua sequels below this.
Ah, yes, that makes sense. That computes.
Yeah, I gave this overall a 15 out of 25, which is a 60% or a 3 out of 5 stars. I had fun. The last act really pulled a lot of the stuff together. Has a lot of fun ideas, but doesn't go anywhere with them.
Yeah, I am always upset every time I think about this film existing. So I'm glad we're done with the Michael Bay era, but
Yeah.
we are moving on to the next couple films that come after this that are influenced in a manner, but we'll get to that. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review and go to our Patreon at patreon.com/Binging Barbie Podcast. And next week we'll be talking about the Transformers quote-unquote prequel, Bumblebee. And until then, you know who they always kill first. The lawyers. Anyway, Autobots, roll out!
Oh, God, I'm sozzled.